Hey guys, my name is Vect, and today I'm going to teach you how to do this. I've been wanting to do some YouTube tutorial videos for years now, and I'm finally pulling the trigger. Just to give you guys a brief overview of what's going on here, because this is the very first one, I plan on doing a 10 to 12 part beginner's beat juggle course on here. It's going to start with the absolute basics, and it's going to work all the way up to breakdowns and chases, and hopefully the goal is to be able to take you from never having beat juggled before all the way up to hopefully being able to make routines by the end of it. Now, if you watched the video at the very beginning of this where I demoed what we're going to be learning today, you probably noticed that there is no beat juggling yet. I'm only using one side and I'm doing trick mixing, and there's a reason for that. Because my philosophy with learning beat juggling, having taught hundreds of people over the last few years, is that before you start manipulating two records and two beats, you want to really focus on building control on one side and then the other side, and then you put it together. So we're going to start with just manipulating beats, doing doubles on one side, and then we're going to do it a little bit more complicated over the next couple videos, and then we'll get into some real beat juggling. If you like any of these videos, if you find them helpful, if you want more, please leave comments, hit me up, let me know how it's going, let me know if you have any feedback or suggestions, because I want to keep improving it, and this is my first time doing it on YouTube, so I'm sure I'm gonna make some mistakes and have some things that I can step up. Without further ado, let's jump into it. So right off the bat, I'm going to talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say the hamster in the room. Many of you watching the demo at the beginning probably noticed that I beat juggle reverse, so that when I want to play this turntable, I put the fader over here, and when I want to play this turntable, I put the fader over here. So that is why I've decided to add this. Because I know that 90% of the people watching juggle regular. So if you are a normal person and you juggle regular, you can watch the fader overlay, and that will tell you where your fader should be. And if you're a weirdo who juggles hamster like I do, then you can just watch the actual crossfader. And one other thing I'd like to point out before we get started is that I have this fancy 3-color sticker system here that I use. But I'll break that down in a future video. For now, all you need to pay attention to is this green sticker. This is my home base. I ignore the yellow and red for 90% of the patterns I do, unless it's something very technical. And the other detail about my stickering is that I use the needle as my reference point. That's my home base where I start my first cue every time. A lot of people use 12 o'clock as well. It doesn't really matter. If you use 12 o'clock, I would stick to it. But just know that I'm starting at the needle. So my needle is your 12 o'clock. And with those two things out of the way, let's get into our first drill. So drill number 1 is basic quarter note trick mixing. And yes, I said quarter notes, not beats, because we're turntablists, we're musicians. We're going to start using more accurate musical terms to describe what we're doing, because it makes things easier in the long run. Just in case you don't know what a quarter note is, it's the same as a beat. And luckily on this handy tool that I made for this lesson, I put the counts in the beat. So
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So a quarter note is basically every time there's a count on the beat there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And for our first drill, basically what we're going to be doing is doubling up full quarter notes. So we're going to have a 1 here, and then we're going to repeat the 1 here, and then a 3, and then a 3. If you're just playing the record that you start with, or I usually call it the leader record, it's the first record that you drop in a pattern, it's going to sound like this. You're going to hear one note, and then your fader's going to mute the next note, and then you're going to hear another note, and then it's going to mute the next note.
1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3.
Just like that. So you're only going to hear the 1s and the 3s, and in that silence, you're going to do the exact same thing on this side, but you're offsetting it so that it's going to double it up. 1, 1, 3, 3. So to do the first drill, all you're gonna do is play this track and you're gonna wait for it to come back around, and when it says 1 and it's just about to say 2, you're gonna drop this record right on the 2 and move the fader across to cut it off. So you should get something like this. Just like that. So that's drill number 1. You're just doubling up the 1 and the 3, and you don't hear the 2s and the 4s or the snares. So for drill number 2, we're gonna do something that I call a switch. So we're gonna switch the focus of our trick mixing from doubling up the 1s and the 3s to doubling up the 2s and the 4s. And the way that we do that is that we first just set up the 1s and 3s, just like we did in the first pattern. So now that we have the 1s and 3s set up so they're offset at the correct interval, all we have to do is play the leader record, and as soon as we hear a 2, we move the crossfader over to catch the other 2 and then back again to hit the 4. So if you're moving it at the same speed of quarter notes, you're going to hear 1, 2, 2, 4, 4, 2, 2, 4, 4. Just like that. And you can use that technique to switch back and forth between the 1s and 3s and the 2s and 4s. That's why I call it the switch. Just like that. And now for our third and final drill, we're going to do something that I call looping trick mixing. So for this one, we're actually going to manipulate the record. The first 2 patterns, all we did was play both the records and only use the crossfader after that. Now we're actually going to be using the record. So for this one, you're going to drop the 1, close the fader, and bring it back to the 1. Your fader should move nice and evenly, so it should spend the same amount of time on this side as it does that side, because it should be there for a full quarter note, so you hear a full note on each side. 2 things to watch out for: don't play too much of this. If you hear the snare or the 2 on this side, you're too slow. And if you cut it off too fast, that's not good either. You want to make sure that you hear this A sound. You want to hear the kick and the A every single time. If you do it correctly with the right timing, it should sound something like this. So if you get down all 3 of these patterns, you should be able to do something that sounds kind of similar to what I did in the demo video at the beginning of this tutorial. Hey guys, if you like this tutorial and you want any of the beats or scratch tools that I used in this video or any of my other ones, or if you want to find out more about private lessons with me or boot camps or get some deals on that stuff, head to my Patreon in the description down below. Catch you in the next video.